Oh, good morning to you. I'm feeling a bit fresh this morning. Yesterday, we had a couple of friends from Scotland come down. I'll get more into that in a bit. But we took them out sort of drinking yesterday in around Barnsley and then into Sheffield sort of later on. So I'm feeling a bit delicate this morning. But then later on today, we're taking them on the train pub crawl. So that'll be fun. And then there'll be even more Scots joining us on the train pub crawl, which will be, I think, very, very fun indeed. Oh, Kath OG, good morning to you. Like I say, do come on in, hit the like, hit the share button, and let more people that we are live streaming. We got ponies galore. We got ponies galore today. Oh. But no, well, oh, hang on. almost did that as if on cue, showing us his best side. Definitely showing us his best side. Morning. But no, it's we've had some really good weather recently. I hope it's better today. But no, it's a really overclouded morning today. So hopefully this will clear for later on. But if it does, then that'll be perfecto for later on. But one thing I really want to talk about today is, like I say, bit of Barnsley hometown pride. A bit of Barnsley hometown pride this morning. Dave Walker, good morning to you. Cavalier, good morning to you. Good morning to all the other people joining us as well today and this morning. Like I say, please do remember to click on the like and share button. Like I say, it gets people in. Gets people realising that we're live streaming as well. Helps with all the algorithmical gubbins on the back end as well. Oh. But no, really happy, honestly, yesterday. Because certainly, like I say, the people I was showing around yesterday, they're from Aberdeen. And one thing that I was really sort of happy about yesterday was just how much they kept on saying that they couldn't believe how much Barnsley has changed for the better. Because I've kept on saying it on here, I've said it elsewhere, but the new town centre, everything that that is sort of developing, everything that is sort of doing, it's really sort of changing Barnsley for the better. And when you've got people who, bear in mind, coming all the way from Aberdeen and been coming down to Barnsley to see us since about the mid 2000s, the mid 2000s ish. So that's really good to sort of hear people say that and come away feeling really impressed about your hometown. Really good about that. Rab, good morning. The rest of Dynamo, good morning to you. Like I say, good morning. Oh, I think, yes, by the looks of it, that is I don't know if you can see him there. That is a brand new, fresh pony by the looks of it. So yeah, fresh off the assembly line, by the looks of it. He's still a bit wobbly, bless him. But there he is. But yeah, you can just see he's, shall we say, fresh off the assembly line. Oh. But no, good morning everyone joining us today. Like I say, good morning. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Was Yorkshire Day yesterday. I should have done a Yorkshire Day theme stream yesterday, but as I've always said to start this, I was showing off Barnsley yesterday to some Scots, and then we'll be taking them on a train pub crawl later on today, so that's going to be fun. Oh. Not fresh fall, but you know, probably maybe a couple of months, maybe, I'm guessing. So yeah, happy belated Yorkshire Day. Yeah. Exactly. It's a belated Yorkshire Day, but there you go. Oh, one angry pagan bringing the badges. Nick B, good morning to you. Looks like Amish country. welcome to Yorkshire. But yeah, if you want rolling hills, there are plenty of rolling hills you can have, and scenery like that you can have in Yorkshire. Absolutely, you can have a lot more scenery like that in Yorkshire. There's some cracking places, as we say, to visit in Yorkshire. So if you ever have the chance, come visit Yorkshire. It's a really good place to see. Helen Wilkes, good morning to you from Leeds. Good morning. So where are we gonna start today? Obviously, you know, I think it would be remiss of me not to mention, you know, the unfortunate incident that happened in Southport. You know, it's a real tragedy, you know, that stuff like that happens. And the unfortunate thing now is, as One Angry Pagans, you know, mentions as well, unfortunately now this is being used by, you know, the far right to, well, justify going off on multiple riots that we've had now, because there's been one in fact two in Sunderland, as you were saying. They're kicking off last night as well. But there's a whole lot planned out, I think, this weekend as well, unfortunately. So it would not shock me. It would not shock me to see some more rioting, you know, this weekend. Hopefully it's not, you know, too severe. But this is the unfortunate side effect of what happens when you don't take on, you know, people like Farage. And I think ultimately we need to be looking at, you know, a lot of people were saying it, the online safety bill, the fact that this did not really cover the fact that you had a lot of influencers and sort of very big channels sharing a lot of the misinformation that was going around. And that's part of the problem, that the information that gets shared and gets amplified isn't being shared almost initially like by these, accounts. It's being amplified and magnified by the bigger accounts, by people like Nigel Farage, by people like, Lee Anderson. They're the problem. They're the ones who are spreading all this misinformation and disinformation. And I really do think this is something that the social media companies need to be held to account for. They absolutely need to be held to account for this. And it's the big question is, how do you do it? How do you do it? And I work in this industry, sort of marketing in some ways, but even I don't really have the full answer for this. Maybe you shadow ban these people. Maybe you de-amplify their voices. Something has to be done, and something should be done in the wake of this. And it is, and I think once again, the focus should be on social media companies to say, hey, while you weren't the ones spreading the disinformation, there's a responsibility that your companies had, because your companies were amplifying this, and it doesn't really look like they were doing that too much to, stop the spread of some of this stuff. And another example, by the way, that we saw this week, again, spreading of disinformation, was the Olympic boxing that happened. And that went off so quickly, so quickly, just how that started spreading. But again, that was big far right accounts using that, spreading that as their narrative, and they were the ones amplifying, the complete nonsense that that boxer was a trans woman. She wasn't. There was nothing trans about her. She was a woman. And yet they've used it to fuel so much more other stuff, off the back of this. So much more other stuff off the back of this. Just because that, she can punch hard. By the sounds of it, she punches very hard indeed. Oh. But yeah, that's another sort of prime example of, misinformation just spreading like wildfire. Again, it was big accounts that were sort of spreading, and amplifying some of this stuff that was going on. So, there should be, I think, if Labour were really smart about this, they should be looking into this. They should be launching some sort of inquiry. They should be launching some sort of inquiry into what's going on these social media companies. But we already know this, because there's plenty of papers out there to explain this, and to say why this is. Because of the ecosystem of, social media and, outrage. You know, social media loves nothing better than an outrage. This is an outrage. And we've seen that play out through all the years. Really, really, just so many throughout the years of just, you know, one outrage after another. Oh, good morning, Jane Lockwood. Good morning to you. Good morning to everyone else as well. Yeah, the mighty bush. This is an outrage. Oh. So yeah, I just really sort of wanted to mention that because, you know, as everything that happened in Sunderland is an absolute tragedy. It's been, you know, the far right and Nigel Farage. I'm just asking questions. Well, I remember years and years ago on my channel where we used to take on and debunk, you know, conspiracy theories. This is exactly the same nonsense they would spout. I'm just asking questions. But when they'd get answers, they'd just ignore the answers because the answer wasn't convenient to them. It didn't suit their narrative. So they would just ignore it and continue just asking questions. And Jess Phillip, by the way, brought this up as well. She pulled Nigel Farage upon this as well. You know, if Nigel Farage just wanted to ask questions, he had the perfect opportunity to do that in Parliament, where, once again, he was not present. So, you know, once again, the people of Clacton not being served by an MP who's just not there. So it's... It's one of those things where you just got to look at it. It's just like, you know, sooner or later, I think something's got to give. And bear in mind, his deadline for his declaring his finances is coming up. So we'll see what happens there. But that is on the, I think, 4th of this month. So he's got until then to declare that. He's got until then to declare that. So we'll see if he gets brought up on this, but we'll see. Let's go through some of the comments, because I haven't been through some of the comments. Where are we? Jane Lockwood, yep. Hitler's playbook, just saying, yep. Yep. It's incredible how they're using the same tactics. It's unbelievable, but you know, I wonder why. Helen Wilkes, why become an MP if you don't want to ask questions in Parliament? Exactly. Why even become an EMP if you don't want to ask questions in, you know, the European Parliament? Or, you know, maybe go on, you know, a fishing committee and then not even turn up to said fishing committee. traveling. There's a lot bigger problems. Oh, hang on. Disappearing on me. There's a lot of big problems. There's a lot of people who have a lack of capacity and need to be sorted out. Sorry to be blunt, but I'm not that sort of person. Dave Quatermass. I can't believe that people fall for the same old right-wing playbook. Exactly. Folding Ideas has a full series of the right-wing playbook. Definitely worth a watch if you've never given it a view. It's a very, very good set of videos that does explain just how the right-wing operate and how they go about spreading their disinformation. It's a very, very good set of videos. Definitely give them a watch if you haven't watched them. Yeah. Yeah, it's obvious you get paid not to ask them. Exactly. Oh. Nope. Charles, good morning to you. Good morning. A shame to say that a few years ago, I used to be in the Farage and Trump cult. Would like to tell my story one day of how moving from hate to ignorance to enlightenment. Again, like I say, welcome to the light, Charles. And you know, good for you for telling your story, because more people need to. If you've had that, I don't know, Damascus moment, are we still, is that technically the right term? A coming to Damascus moment, maybe? Although that is a bit religious. But, you know, I don't know what else to describe it really, but I think that's just the best way to use the term. You know, my message to you, Charles, is, you know, get out there. You know, you probably have, you know, a phone on your camera, and tell your story. You know, tell people, you know, how you first got there, and then how, you know, things turned around for you and you sort of realized what Trump and Farage really were. Because I guarantee you, Charles, there will be people who were exactly like you were, as you said yourself, a couple of years ago. And it's people like you who, when you know, see the light, you need to go out there and tell your story. You know, and tell people what changed your mind and why you changed your mind. And again, I don't know if you'd be happy for this, but if you want to put in chat, I'd love to know, like, what was the main reason, you know, what was the point you went, oh, what was your oh moment? to again, to use probably the wrong phrase on that, but no, I'd love to know what was oh moment. You know, what was the point you went, oh, actually, you know, these people are bad. Again, I'd love to know. But this goes back to something else I talked about years and years ago. No! Oh no, why has it happened again? Oh, god damn it. What is it? Blast! Back to this rotation. I do not know what it is about this phone recently, but yeah, I do apologize if I'm now coming to you from a different angle, but Apparently, this is what my phone thinks portrait mode, or shall we say horizontal, is, for some reason. Super annoying. Oh, at least I can still do this, but yeah, just annoying now to read the comments because, say, when I hold it this way, there's a wonderful black film it puts over the screen. Patrick H, good morning to you. But yeah, I said this years and years ago about about Brexiteers. If you are really to win sort of hearts and minds and really reverse the Brexit, then we need to be engaging with people who voted leave, and we need to sort of remove the anger and make sure we don't come across angry or anything like that, and talk and engage with these people, and sort of say, well, unfortunately, you were lied to, because what you're saying, what you voted for, either A, hasn't happened, or really just never came to pass. Hang on. Sorry. I say it's difficult to read the comments with that film on otherwise, so I've got to flip my phone this way. So anyway, Evelyn. In other news, it is now safe to say that the Tories aren't coming back anytime soon. What if soon? Ooh, there. This is so annoying. So they aren't coming back anytime soon. If what they had to say this week is a guide, oh, exactly. I mean, honestly, like we'll get into this in a minute. We'll talk about what happened this week in the Tory civil war in a moment. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Helen, it's wanting there to be very simple solutions. Exactly. Yeah, it's simple solutions to what are very, very complex problems, and that's something that I think anyone who was active in the Remain campaign will tell you. It was, how do you sell the single market to someone in such a short time when it's actually a really complex thing to talk about? It was very, 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 very difficult, where people who were just campaigning on the Leave side could just go, oh, but we'll get our sovereignty back, or we'll become global Britain again. I agree with you on that, Helen. I very, very much agree with you on that. But anyway, back to the rest of the comment. Yeah, it's wanting there to be very simple solutions. Leave the EU, stop immigration, leave the European Court of Human Rights, but don't really think about the real problems and how to actually solve them. Yeah. I've tried to talk to quite a few right-wingers. Most of the time, they refuse just to accept reality. Yep. Patrick H, Femi explains the single market very well in simple terms. Yeah, Femi honestly does a really, really good job at, explaining, a lot of that. He does a really good job explaining a lot of that. So, he is very, very good when it comes to sort of explaining all that stuff. But like I say, it's, the problem of immigration isn't something, we could sit and just talk about immigration itself, why immigration happens, and, what happens in the UK with immigration. for an entire stream. And a big problem is that a lot of people on the right never, ever, ever would engage or even listen with a lot of that stuff. It's really, really difficult. And sometimes you've got to be really, really knowledgeable in almost like 3 or 4 different areas. And that was certainly the case where we saw this in the referendum, where Brexit became this just amorphous blob that could mean anything to anyone. And if they were stuck or challenged on something, well, then Brexit could become about something else. So it might be about immigration, then it might be about the economy or taking back control or anything like that. And it was just completely it was just absolutely completely like that all the time, just changing ever more, you know, on that subject. It was really hard sometimes to try and pin people down, because they would move to a different topic or a different subject if they felt like, you know, they were being pinned down on something like that. In fact, I actually do have there is a guy from like Reform UK, who is a Reform UK supporter, and he does have a YouTube channel, and I am thinking about asking him on and having a discussion, but my worry is that this just goes wacky very quickly in many ways. So I am a bit apprehensive about, you know, asking him on, but I think in some ways it could be quite good for that, so we'll see. Yeah, Truss's humiliation at the races, Jesus. Oh, if you have not seen that, go hunt down that clip of Liz Truss being humiliated at the races. Oh. Richard, good morning to you. Yeah, oh yeah, that was hilarious. Open mouth, like she was about to speak. Good impression of Liz Truss, the impression. Migration always happened at some point anyway. Human history rides on the wave and the back of migration one way or another. Yep. Charles, good morning. Oh yes, I did vote for Remain out of very selfish reasons. Mainly I wanted to stay and retire in Spain. Oh, I think that's a big thing. I think a lot of I think people are going to realise, you know, a lot of these people who did vote to leave do, and, you know, want to retire in Spain, and now they're sort of realising, oh, they can't do that anymore. You know, they've realised that, you know, they can't actually do that anymore. You know, it's not feasible or possible for them. Being followed by a horse. Rab, start reframing as anti-immigration as pro-inbreeding. Yeah. Bakura, good morning to you. Finally got in. What did I miss? Not too much. Not too much. Craig, it's why a confirmatory referendum term that they'd... sorry, this is just... I do not know why my phone is doing this, but like I say, if I put it this way, I can't read the comment because of this film that comes over. I'm going to have to look into this and, if not, try and get it fixed somehow. Or I just need to get a new phone, which could also solve the problem. Craig, it's why a confirmatory referendum completely terrified them. They'd have to actually run on some sort of solid platform or it does this on these issues, and they knew that it would cost them hugely. Yep. And this is it. I remember, and we all remember, the videos of, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Nigel Farage, all saying that there should be like multiple, referendums and a confirmatory referendum on this subject. But once they had it, they knew that they didn't want to go back on it because they won on such a small margin of 2%. And because they won on such a small margin, they were terrified of going back. And this is the example of, they won on such a small margin, and then we've ended up with an incredibly hard Brexit, which, if they'd actually campaigned on that, they knew full well they would have never have won on. And yet, here we are. Leave voters in Spain was always the most bizarre thing. Now they're all complaining. Yep, exactly. When I pagan, those EDL thugs now giving us millennials a very bad name. Cavalan, thank you very much for the super sticker. Thank you very much. Oh, again, goes back to this. So frustrating, but I can just see it, but it's really difficult to read the comments. I cannot read the comments now this way because of like this black film that's across. So I have to go like that, and then it goes away because it thinks it's in the wrong orientation. That's the right orientation, but oh, I wonder if there's something in here I can use. Under auto rotate landscape. No. Frustratingly, it is not working. Oh well, never mind. No, well, we won't be able to jump that. we'll just go over here. Anyway, Craig, Leave voters often had very specific hobby horses. And that was the main thing they really cared about. They very rarely really actually agreed on them, and that they have to tell most of them, nope, sorry, you aren't going to get that. Yeah, and that's what we saw. That Brexit coalition that we saw after 2016, look how quickly that all fell apart, because none of them could agree on what Brexit could or should actually be. It was the proverbial dog who finally caught the ambulance and then didn't know what to do with it. The Badger cult is now better. Nicer people, nicer ideology. Noreen Skinner is doing a show at the Fringe. You might go see it. Yeah, I've got to do the Fringe one year. I really, really do. I've got to go to the Fringe because it's something I've always wanted to go see but never had the opportunity to do. But I've had a friend go and do it, and she's done it a couple of times. But it's just about getting the right accommodation at the right price as well. And again, like I say, I've got some friends down from Scotland, and one of them said it very clearly. When the Fringe is on, they can't wait to get out of Edinburgh because it's a nightmare. It's awful. There's just so many people for like 2 weeks. But no, definitely something that I do want to do at one point though. I'll be a Fringe tourist. Yeah, you can rent out the apartments for silly money during the Fringe. Yeah, exactly. And many people do. And many landlords for that specific month will put up their rent just for that 1 month. That's something that happens quite a lot. Oh. The rest of Dynamo, Craig is spot on. Alma Thrift, good morning to you. Craig is spot on. My pro Brexit opinions started in the very sort of late 80s, early 90s. Costs of anti-motorcycle legislation coming from the European Commission. Previously, Martin Belgerman. Yeah, it's these tiny things that started it. It was like regulations that people didn't like, and then this just built and built and built and built. Gary Arnold, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone else as well, by the way. Sorry once again for the awkward orientation, because for some reason my phone thinks that is the wrong way when it thinks this is the right way when it's not. I don't know what is going on with it, but frustrating, incredibly frustrating. I think that's, oh no, that's chat. No, share. I know that flips. It's like it's something. I hit something and it did something. I'm just trying to think if that's. Oh well, never mind. There are still channels still spreading the complete twaddle about the new EU rules coming in that will ban the sale of used cars or even ban the repair of old cars older than 10 years old. One of the things that's actually coming in a couple of weeks, well, within the next couple of months, or is it within the year, is the European deforestry rules, so the EDR, I think it's called, and that is that you are not allowed to have a product that may be involved in sort of deforestry. So coffee is a prime example of this, of coffee beans that might have been or come from a country being involved in like deforestation or something like that. That's something that we're gonna have to follow, or if you are a UK coffee exporter, you are gonna we've said it many times You know, the EU is a regulatory superpower. It is that big when it comes to all those combined economies working together, that if you want to sell in to that market, well, you've got to follow those rules and regulations. So every country has to follow those rules. Even America has to follow those rules if it wants to sell into Europe. You know, and that includes us. You know, no company wants to have two separate production lines, you know, one for Europe, one for the UK, because that is just ridiculous. And this is why you see the product safety and meteorology bill, that again doesn't sound very, you know, the most exciting bill ever, but in the bill that was mentioned in the King's speech is pretty much where it said, oh yes, we are going to sort of, you know, follow and mirror, you know, European regulations. So expect people like Nigel Farage and all the usual Brexiteer people to be screaming about this bill when it finally comes up. But you know, when you've got businesses that have been saying for years, you know, we want to follow these rules and regulations, you know, I think we're going to end up following those rules and regulations. Yes, it makes perfect sense, because they're our largest market, you know. And you've had a government for years that is like, yeah, we're just going to ignore our largest market and just pretend like it doesn't exist. And now, as I said, we've got a new government who's like, no, actually, we want to engage. We want to engage. We want to work with. We want to, you know, rebuild our relationship with Europe. And of course, we've been constantly hearing very good things from, you know, European diplomats, people in the EU, when they've said things like that. And yet, whenever I bring that up, I get people in the comments, get people in the chat saying, oh no, you're wrong. And I'm like, so, you know, I'll sit here, as I've always said, you know, I can say I'm wrong all I like, but I'll tell you what, in a couple of years, I'll be proved right. So, you know, but there you go. Oh, anyway. Blue Badger 88, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone else joining us as well. Craig, Farage would need to actually show up and whine about it in Parliament. Oh, trust me. I think Farage would take every opportunity, I think, to start talking about that. Trust me, I have a mysterious feeling he might actually turn up at those conversations. Yeah, Gary Arnold. I lived, moved, and studied in Europe, made possible by freedom of movement, no more. Here's the thing. Freedom of movement is not exactly the biggest obstacle, because we would get so much more from it, you know. We would get so much more than anything we would lose if we accepted freedom of movement. So it's not the biggest obstacle. And it is just having a government that says, okay, because we saw that very recently with the Spanish Prime Minister, you know, talking about freedom of movement. And of course, Keir Starmer sort of rejected it. But this is where we in like the European movement have to get out there, have to start, you know, writing letters to our MPs, to say, you know, not accepting that was a dumb move, a dumb decision. You should, you know, be talking to you should be talking to Keir Starmer, saying, you know, we should accept it. But, you know, yeah, Dave W, good evening. welcome to the late club. The naughty seats in the back, you will be marked late on the register. Oh. Richard, a couple of my friends in Aldershot telling me that the Nepalese community have been getting hassled this week. The ex-army Gurkhas could be a challenging dynamic there. Oh. We would, but there are people who don't want to use it and only see the downside. As long as they can have their 2 weeks in Spain, they would have that's all the movement that they would want. Yeah, that's very true. Angry Badger. We should call it night badgers rather than owls. Very, very true. Patrick H, Labour conference should be very interesting. Lots of pressure on the leadership to be sort of more pro-rejoin. Yeah, again, I hope so, but as I said before, I don't think we're just going to go launching, you know, immediately back into that rejoin stance. Let's go over. But like I say, as always, we are now, of course, coming to the end of our good morning walk. I will be going on my adventure today for a train pub crawl with a lot of Scottish people, so that'll be fun. I'm totally sure we won't talk about, you know, Scottish politics at all. So that'll be fun. But yes, as always, thank you very, 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 very much so for joining me on today's Good Morning Walk. Like I say, because I am entertaining people today, there might not be 2 videos out today. It might just be the one, depending how much time I have after this. So, as always, like I say, thank you so much for joining us. As always, links down below, help support the channel, all that good stuff. Yeah, Kamala needs to man up and debate. Love it. That's funny. That was funny as well. Challenging Trump to a debate. Yeah, come say it to my face. That was very, very good. Yeah, so have an absolutely good one, folks. Like I say, as always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. Go out, enjoy yourselves, and as always, we'll see you all next time on the Good Morning Walk.